lots of things to like, certainly some things that people might not like. What are the thoughts on this link?
Yes, Stu, over to you, mate. Yeah, he's an experienced striker. Will he want to start, though? When he comes in, how long of a contract will he get?
Look, he's a player that scored plenty of goals in the Championship and has done it in the Premier League. So that's the sort of bracket of players that Ipswich are looking at the moment. I note that Middlesbrough, I think, have tentatively been linked to him as well, former employer. He's got a bit of a connection to Ipswich through Calvin Phillips. They're best mates, those two. And I'm sure if he'd have spoken to Calvin about life at Ipswich and working under Kieran McKenna, he'd have got a glowing report from Calvin Phillips. Scored 5 goals in this short spell at Sheffield United, so shown that he's still got it. I think he's sort of a bit of an all-rounder that fits the profile of a McKenna striker, scores goals with his head, scores goals with his feet, different types of goals. I guess the one big question mark is fitness, isn't it? Chris Wilder's talked about his decision. It was Bamford's decision to sign a short-term contract, basically to keep his options open. He backed himself to go there, do well, and either get a better deal at Sheffield United or a move elsewhere. So I think United are still hopeful that they can strike a contract there, but others are sniffing. Ipswich have been mentioned, not been able to stand that one up yet, but we've talked a lot about striker, haven't we, going into this window, whether Ipswich need an upgrade on what they've got. I wouldn't be adverse to it. I mean, I can't say I've watched Patrick Bamford week in, week out on what he's been doing, but it sounds like he's been doing quite well, and hopefully would be someone that could come in, provide a bit off the pitch, on the pitch, and hit the ground running, which is what we're after.
Very much so. And it'll be very interesting, the game at Bramall Lane later in January then, AJ, because, if it depends on if he has signed that new deal or if he joins Town, it's like, well, that'd be the big talking point.
Yeah, certainly some narrative to it. I mean, look, he's been really good so far in Sheffield United colours. I think their fans are definitely concerned that he won't stay because he's been the main man, especially in an attacking sense. Scored against Stoke, scored against Birmingham, and then a really good couple of goals against Wrexham. And I remember driving back from Millwall actually that night, and I had that game on the radio and thought, you know what, I really wish that Town maybe had gone in for him when the opportunity was there to sign him as a free agent. And there you go, it materialised that there might be some interest now coming into the new year. I kind of can see both sides of it. I am a little bit concerned about the injury record, but as Chris Wilder has said, it's been really impressive so far at Sheffield United. And the other bit that you could point to, and I don't want to do a Rossism here, he's 32 would be the other thing to say. What is going to be the shelf life of him at the top end of the game, especially given that injury record? Is he going to be able to not just play a part this season, because I'd back him to be a really important player if he did sign between now and the end of the campaign, but can he then step back up into the Premier League, deliver, okay, let's be honest, not as a starter in the Premier League, but deliver an important part off the bench and in some games from the start? That would be more of a question mark. How does that fit in with the balance of George Hurst and Stu Brackbomb, who could sign permanently as well if Town are promoted, and Town wanting to go out, no doubt, if they get promoted, and signing another number 9 in the summer? It's all things to think about. In the short term, I'm a big fan, for sure. I think that it would be one of the better options that Town could have. But then you're looking at beyond that. And does that work for Callum Wilson as well? Could he look at Sheffield United and say, well, you know what, even though the odds of Sheffield United getting promoted are a little bit more slim, I know that I'm guaranteed to be involved in this team for the next 18 months and beyond, whereas at Ipswich there might be more question marks as to that kind of stability. But yeah, free agent market is interesting, isn't it? Especially, I know there's some Town fans that have an eye on Callum Wilson at West Ham as well.
Yeah.